Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 98. I'm your host, Rico, here with my fantastic co-host,
Mr. Dane Cody.
Mr. Dane Cody. How you doing, bud?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Good.
Sweet.
If you don't know, we get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, or whatever the hell we like. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, new listeners. I apologize ahead of time for how much of an asshole I am.
You're a dick.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we getting angry about?
I don't
or is that
know.
going to come up later?
That'll come up later, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't been here before, we usually start the show with what you've been playing. We'll run down to the games we're getting into, especially this week. It's going to definitely be heavy on the Switch. Impressions, some Breath of the Wild, obviously some more Horizon. Then we get into some news, our public service announcements, and then our free-for-all, which is the section that'll probably piss some people off. I don't know. It should.
Oh, okay.
But anyway. But even before we get to any of that, we start with our designated drinking section.
Yeah, buddy. That's, I think, my favorite part of the show.
It is definitely your favorite part of the show.
It's a good part of the show. Come on.
I'm turning it into a better part of the show. I'm learning to be a man.
Yeah.
And start drinking because, man, the way
Be a
things
man.
are going lately, I'm going to be drinking all the time.
Awesome. Welcome to my world.
What are you drinking, Dane?
Tonight was a Scotch night. Drinking some Dalwhinnie 15-year Scotch.
Nice.
It is very nice. It is
I'm
delicious.
also drinking Scotch. Can you guess what I'm drinking this week?
Is it your Crazy Turkey or whatever it's called?
Famous Grouse, finest Scotch whiskey.
Famous Grouse.
The bottle is almost done. Swigging it straight out of the bottle again for the third week in a row.
You are a classy motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
So, in other words, you're drinking it neat then?
I'm drinking it very neat.
Okay, good. Because if you were like, oh yeah, I dropped some ice cubes in here to keep it cold, I was probably going to hang up on you.
Yeah, no. I don't think I can get ice cubes in this bottle, but it's all right. It's definitely like the cognac better than this stuff.
Oh man, I don't know how we're friends sometimes.
Why?
Oh, although to be fair, I don't know if I've ever had that Scotch, so I don't know if it's any good. So
I don't think it's any good.
Otherwise, somebody would have been calling you back to get a hold of it.
Hey,
I want my Scotch back.
Someone definitely left it at my house blatantly.
Probably because they didn't want it.
Yeah,
they're like,
they
Rick
wanted to
can
punish me.
have it. I don't really care.
It helps with all the money I've spent in the last week, though.
Fair enough.
So, Dane,
yeah.
Let me guess what you've been playing.
I don't know.
The Switch is here.
It is.
Everybody has a Switch. You got a Switch. You got a Switch. You get a Switch.
Switches
Everybody gets a Switch.
Everybody. Yeah. I got my Switch. It almost went to tears for me last Friday. Halfway through the day, I got a phone call from here in Canada, the Purelator guy. He said, "Hey, come downstairs. I have a package for you," which kind of sounded dirty in hindsight.
Got a big package for you, big boy.
Yeah. And I said, "Well, I'm actually at work. Sorry, I can't get it." And he said, "Oh, well, all I can do is leave you a note and you can go pick it up at one of the pickup depots." And I said, "Okay, that sounds fine." He's like, "All right, well, you can pick it up on Monday."
No.
And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? Pick it up on Monday? Today's Friday. Why can't I pick it up tomorrow?" And he's like, "Well, the drivers don't work on Saturday." And he's like, "By the time I get back from my shift at the end of my day, there won't be any time to drive from the depot down to where the drop-off place to pick all the stuff up is. And so you'll have to pick it up on Monday."
It's like he called you on your cell phone?
He did.
Or
yes.
is your buzzer hooked up to your cell phone?
No, he called me on my cell phone, which I really appreciated. Huge shout out to him for calling me. So anyway, so I said, well, I guess I don't have a choice, so leave me a note and I'll pick it up, I guess, on Monday. And I was kind of bummed out. So then I realized that his depot is where he's got to go back to at the end of the day.
Is by your work?
Like 2 blocks away from where I work. I could walk there, no problem, from where I work.
Oh,
so I called him back and I said, hey man, your depot is this close to my work. Can I just pick it up at the end of the day once you go back there? And he's like, yeah, you totally can. He's like, he kind of gave me the lowdown. He's like, here's my name. This is my number. He's like, so if you go in to pick it up, just say that so-and-so told you his number is this. And he said that I could pick it up after at the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. And you'll have to have your ID and et cetera, et cetera. You could pick it up after, I think he said 4:30. And I was like, all right, cool. And so luckily I went there at around a little after 5. And sure enough, it was there.
Nice. Wow, that's like above and beyond for a delivery guy. They don't do that shit here. It must be a condo apartment thing in Vancouver or big cities that they do that.
Yeah. I was surprised because I just expected to get home and there'd be a note on the door saying, come pick your shit up.
Yeah, Purelator, for me, he always leaves a card if I miss him.
Yeah.
Canada Post lady, now that the Christmas rush is over and she knows me, she started leaving stuff again, even though it says do not safe drop.
Oh, okay.
But I live in a rural area. There's lots of people walking by. I guess people could grab stuff, but no one ever does. So
yeah,
I live in a relatively safe or nice neighborhood, I guess you could say.
Yep.
And everyone else also, just leaves cards. It's a pain in the ass. Like I always miss Purelator, and then I have to go down to the Purelator
depot
office
and pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I managed to pick it up, and earlier in the day, Amazon dropped off my memory card for my Switch. So I got a 128 gig memory stick, which is sweet. I got that for like super cheap. It was like, I don't know, $45 or something like that. So I got that in there now, which is really nice. Of course, I don't have anything on it yet, but it was one of those. It was one of those like I'm thinking ahead, you know, because I know down the road I would prefer to have games on digital because then I don't have to worry about packing cards around. And then I swung by Best Buy like on my way home after work, and I picked up Zelda. Because I was stupid and didn't think to pre-order through Amazon. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, just because it sounds like a bunch of people didn't get their Amazon pre-orders on the day of. So I know some people that got their Switches.
Even Best Buy. Like I pre-ordered System through Best Buy, and I got a second one.
Right.
Just in case, because I didn't trust anyone that I was going to get it.
Fair enough.
So I had a backup. And that one didn't arrive till Monday.
Really? Okay.
And then, but I had one at EB, and I was just so paranoid that they were like, "Oh, sorry, man, we only got 3, and you got one." So I had the backup, and that one, if that was my main one, I would have been pretty upset.
Yeah. So I was pretty happy because I was starting to sweat pretty bad because they didn't process my order till the day before.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there going like, this thing's supposed to get shipped out to me. And then it was really crazy because the Thursday night before launch, they processed my order at around 5:30, 6 o'clock-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said shipped like a few hours later.
Yeah. It's like,
so it ended up on a truck at like 9 o'clock or something like that on that night. So it worked out for me, but I was kind of sweating bullets, especially when I was seeing other people's like Amazon pre-orders and Best Buy pre-orders and stuff not going through. So I'm glad I didn't take the chance on the game because I figured you're going to be able to walk into any store as long as you didn't want the like super special edition or the special edition.
You couldn't get those.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wandered in. I picked up the game, and then I happened to be in there too, and they had this sweet like Zelda case. So I picked up a Zelda case too because I figured if I want to take it anywhere, then
for the
check
system.
That shit. Yeah, exactly. So,
my story is not as exciting. I obviously had Friday off.
You're lucky bastard.
I pulled up to EB, which was kind of nice. They were smart They actually had all their tills open. And
Wow.
pre-orders this side and non-pre-orders on that side. So they actually had quite a few for non-pre-order people.
Really?
Which
Okay.
is kind of nice.
Was there like a pretty big lineup or anything? Or?
Yeah, it was a huge lineup.
Wow.
It didn't take very long because they kind of organized all the stuff for the pre-order. I don't know. It probably took a lot longer for the non-pre-order line because I think they processed like 4 or 5 pre-order people to every one in the other line. So,
okay.
And obviously that's because with the pre-orders, everyone kind of did their trading or had their deposits and so forth already figured out ahead of time. So I picked mine up and no issue, and basically ran home and promptly started downloading Zelda because I just decided I'm going all digital because I don't know. Every time I have a cart game on 3DS where it packs, it's like, shit, I left that card at home. I can't play that game.
See, and I'm still sort of waiting to find out what their digital plan is going to look like. Are they going to be locked to my account? Are they going to lock to my hardware? That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about.
It can only exist on one hardware, apparently.
Right. And I'm fine with that. But ultimately,
it's tied to your account. So if you move your account to another, I'm pretty sure what I heard is if you move your account to, say, another Switch because you destroyed your Switch, you could just re-download the games again.
See, and that's okay. That's acceptable.
And then they would stop working on the other system because the other system would be like, I need to go online to check.
Right.
Apparently. So I don't have any experience with that, but it's hardware. It's tied to hardware, but not tied to hardware to quite the extent the 3DS and the Wii U were,
Yeah. Okay.
So they know you own it and you can re-download it that way. Whereas before it was like, it's on your Wii U and it's like, sorry dude, your Wii U's busted, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I was like, I'm not gonna take any chances unless I know.
That beautiful Zelda icon on my Switch desktop.
Yeah.
It's just nice. Yeah, it didn't take too long. I don't have the fastest internet in the world. I only have 25 megabits down.
And that's sad.
I know, it's very sad. I cry myself to sleep every night. Considering I could potentially have 150 asynchronous, but not where I live. Duh. So it took I think it took an hour or 2, maybe, to download.
So give you time to go get a sandwich.
What did I do? I was rearranging inputs and wires and stuff to accommodate for the dock and all that stuff because I had to make space and yada yada and so forth. So that was pretty painless. And of course, started playing Zelda.
Nice. I just got to point out one thing before we start getting into the Zelda stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want to talk about the hardware some more?
I do, actually. I
guess I was getting just kind of way too excited ahead of myself.
I really like I like the hardware more than I thought I would, to be honest with you.
I didn't realize that the actual tablet itself was all metal.
Yeah.
I thought it was plastic. From the photos, you can't really tell that it's metal.
Yeah, it's heftier than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a solid little machine.
Yeah, I was happy about that. I like the weight and the feel of it. It feels a lot more premium, especially compared to, obviously, the Wii U.
It doesn't feel like a flimsy, cheap Android tablet or something.
Yeah, no, it feels nice. I was very impressed with that.
Like the Wii U tablet is very clunky and Fisher-Price and kiddie.
Yes. That being said, I also had no idea how light and tiny those fucking Joy-Cons are.
Yeah, they are light and tiny. You can
those
see
things are. Yeah, when you open up the system, the Joy-Cons are not attached to the system.
When you
separate.
open the box, that first impression when you open the box, like, holy shit, this thing's pretty small.
Yeah, when I saw the box at the
even
depot,
the box.
I was like, what is? I'm like, I thought it would be bigger. I don't know why. Probably just because every console launch I've ever had has been quite a bit, they're bigger boxes. But I opened up the box just to make sure that there was actually a Switch inside. But yeah, it smaller than I thought. Much, much smaller. I don't know why, because the photos and stuff make it look pretty small.
I feel the exact same way. I feel like it was like, I thought this thing was bigger.
Yeah.
Which is good, because if it was bigger, then it'd be too big, because, like, it's honestly, it's too big to fit in your pocket. Well,
oh, yeah, no, it's way too big to fit in your pocket.
With the Joy-Cons off, it'll probably fit in your pocket. Well, actually, I'm not going to lie, it actually does fit in my pajama pocket. But I don't go out in public in my pajamas.
Fair enough.
Because they're just super giant, deep pockets for whatever reason.
Right, yeah. But no, so my impressions were, initially I decided to hold off. I was in Best Buy when I picked up Zelda. I was in Best Buy and I saw that they had a whole bunch of Pro controllers. And I saw them sitting there, and there was a little part of me that was like, man, you should probably buy a Pro controller.
They definitely don't have any now.
But I decided not to. I was like, you know what? I'm going to see what it feels like, and maybe I'll get one later. So I didn't buy one for the first night. Sat down, started playing around with the system, getting a feel for it. I played just a little bit of Zelda because we had a whole bunch of shit going on that I wasn't able to actually get into.
You were
Zelda
just playing TV mode or tablet mode?
I was in tablet mode. I didn't plug it in. I didn't get it set up on my TV till Saturday. So Friday night, I was just sitting on the couch after I kind of dealt with a whole bunch of stuff. Finally, at the end of the evening, for like about an hour, I sat down, played with the system, got it all set up, hooked up to the Wi-Fi, et cetera, downloaded the updates, and played maybe about a half an hour of Zelda. But in that half an hour, I realized very quickly that in tablet mode, the Joy-Cons are acceptable. They're not good. They're not great. They're not bad. They're acceptable.
Yeah, I think I think they're good. I've gotten used to them and I like it.
But I decided that if I'm going to play games and I'm going to have this sucker docked, Pro controller, in my opinion, is a must. Like, that system to me almost should have shipped with a Pro controller in the box. I feel like
considering how expensive it is.
No, and I get that, they're not cheap, especially here in Canada. But I don't know. After playing with it for a bit in tablet mode, and then playing with the Pro controller, I truly believe, like, if you buy that system and you're going to play anything on your TV, just get the Pro controller. Yeah. It sucks because it's expensive as hell, but you know what?
Expensive as hell.
It's worth it in my opinion, but because it is so much better.
It's got HD rumble. You got to pay for that high def rumble.
Yeah.
Have you played with it with the puppy dog controller grip combination thing?
I slid my controllers into that, and I did not like the way that felt at all.
I honestly haven't even used it. To be honest, I've probably played in tablet mode 95% of the time.
Wow.
Just, it's so easy. Like, I'm laying on the couch, I'm ignoring my wife and child. It's it's perfect for that.
So what I did is I've got two TVs. Like, I've got a 2-bedroom apartment. I've got the main TV, and it's got the PS4, the Xbox One, all that kind of, the cable TV and stuff like that hooked up in the main room of the house, in the living room. So what I did is I actually decided, because I have my office where I record the podcast, and I've got my computer. I've also got my Wii U and my Xbox 360 still in there. I actually hooked up the Switch to that TV. I mean, I've got a 42-inch plasma screen, 1080p in here.
Yeah.
And I just figured this way my wife can play whatever she wants. If I want to, like, hang out with her and play, I can just pull it off.
Yeah.
And sit with her, beside her on the couch and play whatever. And the rest of the time, all I got to do is swivel my chair around. And because this room is not very large, a 42-inch TV in here feels huge.
Yeah.
So it works out really well to play Zelda with the Pro controller and stuff, just having it docked in here. So
yeah, I got to play more with the funny controller, but at the same time, I don't really need to, because I have a Pro controller. So I haven't bought any other games, so I've had no need to play with the Joy-Cons out of the system.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I think I removed them once just to remove them and click them back in.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a lie. I removed them and put the red ones on my system because I ordered a set of red ones.
Okay.
Man,
both red?
They're bright.
Yeah, I've got the red and blue. So I got the system with the red and blue attached, and they're not subtle.
No. I saw a kid walking down the street. It's so blatantly obvious he's playing the Switch because I could recognize those colors.
Yeah.
But I got the red ones because I got to represent the Portugal with the red. And anyway, I put them in. I'm like, oh, this is dope. I'm like, this is a little too flashy for when I'm chilling at work off to the side. I don't really want to get any attention, but I do have them for the one day I'll have a 4-player game. So now I have 4 Joy-Cons. So
that's fair.
But, yeah, the Pro Controller's nice. I've been playing primarily in tablet mode. I played a lot of Vita and a lot of 3DS. So
it's true. You do play a lot.
I think a lot more than you do. So
yes, you definitely do.
I'm used to the crampiness of holding a handheld. Yes, it's not as good as using the Pro Controller or a DualShock 4.
And my thing is that when I'm on the road or I'm out and about and I'm using it as a handheld device, then it's perfectly acceptable.
I think it's great.
And compared to the Vita or even the 3DS, I think it's great. It's only when I'm got it docked and I want to actually like sit at home and chill with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't use them if I didn't have to.
Exactly. And that's where I realized I'm going to want Pro Controllers is when I docked it and I was like, yeah, that's
my sister-in-law wanted to watch some Zelda, so we were at my mother-in-law's house, so I actually took the Joy-Cons out and just used them separated in each hand.
Okay, yeah.
And just had the tablet on the kickstand on the table, which is kind of interesting. That feels freaking weird, having the 2 controllers separated like that. It's like, well, like for some reason,
the first time you played with the Wii,
it felt so foreign. It was hilarious.
Wow.
The screen too. I really like the screen.
Yeah, it's not the highest resolution, but it's a really nice screen still.
I'm happy to report I have no dead pixels.
Me neither.
People have been complaining about dead pixels. I have none, thank God. Yeah. I have terrible eyes and that stuff I pick up and it bothers the hell out of me. So thank God I don't have any. I think it's a nice, vibrant screen. I don't know what it is. I'm going to guess it's got to be an IPS. I believe
it's an IPS screen.
Because it's got really good viewing angles from all sides.
Yeah.
It doesn't wash out at all. So it must be an IPS.
I don't think it's an OLED screen, but I think it's an IPS.
It must be an IPS. It's
nice though. I was impressed.
I think Zelda looks so awesome on it, playing it on a little tablet. I also got the Nintendo case, the official case, which comes with the screen
slightly
protector.
Hard case?
No, it's kind of soft.
Okay.
It's not the hard. Hori makes the hard one with the dimples on it.
Right.
And then there's the Nintendo one's like a smooth, it's harder, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's freaking rock hard.
Yeah.
But I got it because it comes with a screen protector as well. And
yeah, okay.
I promptly screwed that up, so.
Oh, good job.
Well, I thought I was putting it on really well. And I didn't realize that it actually gives you a lot of room to play, so I put it down really low. So then it was hitting the bottom lip of the bezel.
Oh,
so it was
okay.
heavy. It was basically had an air pocket at the bottom because it was lifted up by the bezel. The edge of the bezel is too close. So then I'm like, okay, I'll just do this real carefully. And of course, as soon as you peel it up, all this dust magically out of nowhere is whoa! Sticks to the bottom of it. And I'm like, well, that's fucking rad. Yeah. So I put it back down and now it has a bunch of dust underneath it. But I ordered the case was $24 versus $22. So I ordered Hori makes a premium screen protector.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess it's a thicker, harder one. So I ordered that one and I don't know when that's going to show up, but I figure with people complaining about, some people have been scratching it, slamming it into the dock. So I'm super careful about holding it towards the back of the dock as I slide it down so it doesn't touch.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I'm not trying to figure out if that's just because people are.
Oh, they're slamming it in there. That's why.
Yeah.
But I'm consciously, like, when I put it into the dock, I'm pushing it towards the back of the dock. So the back is like sliding down, touching the dock, and the front is like a couple mils away from the front.
Well, see, and this is the only issue, is you can technically put that thing in either way. Now, because of course it's a USB-C connection, it doesn't matter which way. But from what I understand, the screen facing out, so if you're looking at the dock,
Has more of a gap.
as far as I'm aware, at least according to the photos that I noticed on the front of the
jamming
box.
it in backwards.
So I'm wondering if you, like, because you could put it in backwards, no problem, because it will still work because it's a freaking USB-C connection. But I'm wondering if Nintendo because let's be honest, there's a few little things about this whole thing that they seem to have sort of missed some little details. I'm wondering if they didn't realize, like, people are going to put this in both ways, so they only sort of put screen protection on one side.
Well, there is no screen protection. There is no screen protection on the front side. It's hard plastic on both sides.
There's like little rubber pieces
at the very bottom. I was feeling it today. It's at the very bottom. It won't protect it from getting scratched.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, why isn't it just rubber all the way up?
I know.
Pretty sure there's going to be
soft.
I bet you there's already a solution of like microfiber stickers that you can put on those rails.
I was actually thinking that myself when I read that. I was like, oh, well, so I could probably just get like a microfiber cloth and lay it down in there.
So I've seen people do that, like on Reddit. They just have pictures where they have a big microfiber cloth hanging on the front of the dock, and then they just slide it down. It's like, okay, no worries. So that looks that looks janky.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to come up with something if someone else doesn't, but that's why I got the screen protector. So I kind of don't care, because at the same time, if it does, it's just scratching the screen protector.
Yeah, exactly.
It does kind of make sense now why the bezel's so big on the screen, because the bezel is where that slides up and down. So that makes sense to me now why this bezel is so big, because the bezel is the portion of the dock where those rails are.
Right.
I think that's why the bezel is so big, because they realized if they went full all screen, obviously it would probably increase the cost, because it would have been another inch bigger. Then those rails would have been scratching on the screen. So if you do scratch it that way, it is just on the bezel. It's still kind of annoying.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised by the hardware. It felt a lot more premium than I thought it was going to, for whatever reason. I guess based on kind of previous Nintendo hardware. Like, it always felt solid, but it always felt super kiddie. Like it was, made slightly by Fisher-Price to be manhandled by children, which again, like, very well made, because I don't know if I've ever had a Nintendo console or product die on me, but they just didn't feel great. They felt kind of like toys.
Yeah, this is for the first version, which I'm sure there's going to probably be a revision.
Wouldn't surprise me.
At some point. Like the 3DS has gone through every handheld from Nintendo has gone through multiple revisions.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good first version, that's for sure.
Although, I guess the Wii U is about the only one that didn't, eh?
Yeah.
But it didn't really last long enough
their
for
home
them.
consoles, they never did. Well, no, that's a lie. There's a couple versions of the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. And then after that, they never really did that to their home consoles again. But the 3DS, the Game Boy...
Wii has that weird Canadian version of the Wii that's got...
right.
That didn't get released. Yeah, it was like super weird because the Wii was apparently not small enough. I don't know.
Like the Game Boy, DS, 3DS, those, man, there's like...
Yeah.
And the new 3DS, the tiny new 3DS. It's like, I think I've gone through 5 3DSs. I currently own 2. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just bought the first one and stuck with it. So I was tempted to get the second one because I liked the eye tracking and it made the 3D a lot better. But
oh my god, 3DS is going to be dead by the end of the year. So
I'm not overly worried about it now.
I probably won't be playing much of that anymore. Though it is a great system. There is a Fire Emblem coming, but so hard to go. It's going to be really hard probably playing that after playing the Switch, but
haven't they also said that the Fire Emblem's coming out on the Switch as well. So
it's got its own version. It's not the same one.
right,
It's just a Fire Emblem Switch, which
exactly. So you're laughing.
So Zelda, Breath of the Wild, obviously the big heavy hitter for the Switch launch. I think
Yep.
the only and first Zelda to launch for the Nintendo console.
No, we talked about this.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
What did we talk about?
We talked about this last week.
Did I make a mistake?
Yeah. There was a Zelda game that launched with the Wii.
Did it launch with the Wii?
Yep. Because it came out on the Wii as a launch game as well as launching on the GameCube.
I swear that wasn't a launch game, but I can't remember.
If it was not day and date, it was so close.
So either way, one of the highest rated, or the game with the highest, most tens or most perfect scores on Metacritic.
Currently,
so
yes.
far. Currently. Man, as a Zelda fan, and longtime Nintendo fan, this game's unreal. It like exceeded all my expectations. There was a part of me, and kind of you brought it up, that I felt like I was going to be disappointed that the hype couldn't possibly match this game.
Right.
But I'm so in love. It's so good.
I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic game and easily the best Zelda game since Ocarina of Time. Easily. Like hands down, in my opinion, the best Zelda game since Ocarina of Time. That being said, I definitely do not agree with the amount of, I think, tens this game is getting. And to be fair, I'm not.
I don't really feel like it's your kind of game.
I've got about 8 hours in.
It is, okay? And it isn't.
Like, yeah, and this is partly my thing. Like, there is certain aspects of this game that I absolutely love. The wandering around, the exploring, the fast travel system, the storytelling, the whimsy, the way it makes you feel. It reminds me of the first Zelda game, where here's a sword, go off and do whatever it is you need to do. And that's kind of all they do. And in this, it's the same thing. You walk out of a cave and
it's a huge departure from the last couple Zeldas where the tutorial's like 6 to 8 hours long.
I never even got past the tutorial in Skyward Sword. I said, fuck this is stupid, and I quit.
This game literally starts and it's like, okay, see you later.
Yeah, totally. Which I don't mind. As somebody who plays video games and I kind of understand video game tropes and things like that, I think it's awesome and I love that. Since my wife has started playing video games, having somebody like her who's never played a Zelda game before, if she was to come in and try and play this, she would be so lost and so frustrated within 5 minutes she would never touch it again.
It is definitely you had to pay attention. Well, it does have a decent quest tracker that gives you some direction. But
sure. Sure.
Compared to how hand-holdy most games are lately, it's very little direction.
Yeah, and again, I would say that for 90% of what I've played currently, or even maybe 95%, that's been perfect for me, and I have not minded that at all. There has been a few things that I feel like they maybe should have done a slightly better job of explaining, not necessarily hand-holding, but even just explaining it just a little bit better. When I was doing the initial quests, I guess, if you will, to sort of, there's, I mean, I don't really know if I want to call it a starting area, but there's kind of an area. There's a starting area.
Where you start it's the Great Plateau, and it is the closest thing to what you would call the tutorial section of the game.
Sure.
There's some story moments, and you're sent along on sort of your first mission. It's like, go do this, and on the way you're learning these mechanics and unlocking new, I guess, what are they called?
Runes.
Yeah, new runes for your Sheikah Slate. So
yeah. So for me, I ran into a position where I knew that what I needed to do, but the game had not even remotely explained how
to do
it. Yeah, like that was the thing. Like the game had essentially told me in, I don't remember whatever it was, that if I cook some food with some hot peppers, it will give me heat resistance or cold resistance. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the game at no point in time ever told me how to cook food, which is fine, except that here I go, walk up to this pot because it says in there that you need to cook food in a pot. So here I am, I'm at a fire, it's lit. I have a pot. And I'm expecting like a button prompt to pop up that says cook, but instead the only prompt that I have is sit. So then I go into my like, pull up the menu, and I'm sitting there going, okay, so I don't have a recipe book. When I select an item, I don't get an option to cook. I'm not gonna lie, I wasted about 20 minutes trying to figure out what the hell. So finally I was like, fuck this, and I just like spent 5 seconds. I was like, how to cook in Zelda in fucking Google. And in, 5 seconds, I figured out that you have to go into your menu and you have to select an item and then you have to hold it.
It is probably...
And I think for me, seeing as how important cooking is in that game, there should have been...
It is and it isn't.
No, man. Cooking is super important in that game. You essentially cannot finish the first starting section without some cooking.
Sure you can. That's the beauty of this game. There's so many different ways to do the same thing. You can totally get an item that you don't need to cook that makes that freezing area totally easy. But you're not guaranteed to find it.
Exactly. So I guess my point is like, but I disagree.
Cooking is a little clunky.
Cooking is super clunky, and it is very important in the game because it allows you to.
It gives you some pretty good bonuses, like you said, you can get.
You don't get health back without cooking. Essentially, you have to cook to gain health. You're not going to cut some grass down and find some parts
you don't have to
like
cook.
in a regular.
You can just eat as well. There's fruit all over the world.
You can. But you gain way more health back when you cook that fruit.
Oh, absolutely.
You go from getting half a heart to a full heart, or even two hearts, right?
Let's rewind a little bit. So this is, Ocarina of Time is open world, but it's open linear world, whereas this is more just open world.
Yep.
You can essentially go anywhere.
Oh, for sure.
Because Link can climb. So there isn't really any barriers barring you from any area, minus your stamina being the only limit.
Right.
But right from the get-go, after you beat this first initial area, you can essentially go anywhere.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of systems, durability for your weapons. There's the cooking system that Dane talked about.
Don't worry, we'll talk about that.
There's the cooking system. The way you can interact with the environment, you can cut down trees, you can climb trees, you can explore any facet you want, because like I said, Link can climb. So there's a mountain, you just climb over it. Obviously you have to plan your route. It's kind of neat. It's very, mountain climber-esque. Okay, I got to get to that peak there, and hopefully I have enough stamina to get there.
It's all stamina management, really. It's trying to figure out if you can make it from this plateau to that plateau and get to that second plateau without my stamina running out and me losing my grip and falling to my death.
But the really cool thing about this game, it's all about discovery.
Absolutely.
Around every corner, there's something to be discovered. There's an enemy camp. There's this one tree out of a bunch of trees looks different. Well, I think I should climb it, because pretty much every time something looks different, there's something there. There's a reward.
Totally. And that aspect of the game I love. I think that is brilliant.
So cool. You just want to keep going and go around every corner and every nook and cranny and lift every rock.
Yep. It's like I said, it's that sense of wonder.
Oh, it's super wonder whimsy. It's like, I don't know. It's such an awesome system that they came up with. Mind you, it's got the Zelda stuff, but they've kind of flipped it on its head. I don't know if it's spoilery, but there's dungeons and there's not dungeons.
Yeah, that's been talked about.
I've gotten far enough in the game that I've actually done. Before recording this podcast, I've done my first major dungeon. Other people that haven't played that far, I've heard in other places, didn't realize there's dungeons. They only thought there was shrines. There's a huge aspect of this game.
Because every time you run across a shrine,
there's tons of shrines around the map.
It's a fast travel point afterwards. So if you find a shrine and you walk up to it and you essentially activate it, it becomes a fast travel point that you can open up your map and travel to at any time after that.
After you solve it.
No, you don't even have to solve it.
You don't?
No,
I thought
do
you
not.
had to complete them. Oh,
no,
cool.
There's two parts. So if you'll walk up to a shrine, you'll notice whenever you walk up to a shrine, the first thing you do is you activate it.
Mm-hmm.
That's your fast travel point.
Ah.
After that, you can either come back to it later and do it, and if you don't beat it, it doesn't go completely blue.
But it's still a fast travel point.
It'll only be blue on the bottom as long as you activate it. So if you walk up to it, you activate it, you see the doors essentially close or whatever, or open, then you're good to go. You can either go inside it, or you can leave. It doesn't matter. And if you beat it, then the whole thing glows blue.
I didn't notice that because I've beaten everyone I've found, actually, except for one. But I didn't realize I could fast travel back to that one, which is fantastic.
Yes.
So,
because that's how I realized it.
A big thing that they added in this Zelda is these shrines. And they kind of did away with the heart pieces. You don't find heart pieces like the classic Zeldas. When you beat a shrine, you get a spirit orb. And for every 4 spirit orbs, you can pray at these statues all over the world. And you can choose to get another heart container, or you can choose to get more stamina. The stamina, you need to swim, you need to paraglide, you need to climb. Like if you run out of stamina while swimming, you drown. You die.
You drown.
If you've run out of stamina while climbing, well, depending how high it is, you fall down and potentially die. So stamina is kind of important in that regard.
There's been 1 or 2 times where stamina has really bit me in the ass.
I have a super love-hate relationship with stamina because I think it's great and I think it's a cool system, but at the same time where climbing, swimming, and paragliding all use the same bar, it sucks.
It can really
you get up too high and you realize, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to make where I'm at. So then you try to paraglide down, and then maybe you accidentally land in the water, but you got no stamina left, so you fucking drown. And you're like, well, I might as well just left myself trying to climb up the fucking mountain if that was the case. Like,
that's pretty. That happened to me once. I learned that lesson. But these shrines, they're like mini dungeons. They're essentially puzzles, almost like Portal-esque, that usually have some mechanic they're requiring you to take advantage of. When you start the game, Link is awoken. You get this item called the Sheikah Slate. And it has these runes, and you eventually, through the story, you unlock these different powers. And the powers from your slate you use in dungeons, in the main dungeon I did, but you use them in these shrines to figure out the exit. And usually they're a type of puzzle, either using one power, a mix of powers. Some of them are just straight up combat based. They're all different. Everyone is different, and
they
definitely have that like aha moment when you figure it out or you beat it, make you feel real smart.
Oh yeah, no, they're honestly great.
They're
especially
awesome
because they're little tidbits that you don't necessarily need to like. Some of them are harder than others.
Yes,
but generally speaking, you're probably not going to spend much more than say 15 minutes on one.
They're just big enough that like, yeah, you're not going to be like, oh, okay, I got to go, or I want to get out of this dungeon. I got something to do. And then you lose your place and you forget where you are. They're just like the perfect little size that you can like bang them out. And then you get a little bit of a reward. Usually sometimes actually you can find some pretty decent weapons in the shrines as well.
Well, that's the other aspect, is each shrine has a sort of a secret treasure box, if you will, that's sort of a side
hidden,
quest.
yeah.
Some of them are super hidden. Some of them are fairly straightforward. You can kind of see, and it you know, but a few of them have more than one as well. Also a little tidbit: if you pull up your map and you hover over one of the shrines, it'll tell you whether or not there's any treasure chests that you don't have yet.
I did not know that.
So you can kind of tell whether or not, you know, if there's a shrine, it's got like a little treasure box. Then you can go back and try and get that treasure chest again.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
there's stealth mechanics.
Yep. There's a whole little gauge in the top right corner that will tell you how loud or quiet you are.
There's a combo. There's a parry system. There's a dodge, counterattack mechanic. The enemies are so cool. The ones that I've seen so far, the way they react, what happens, actions they do, like, it's hilarious. Sometimes you can catch them off guard and they don't have their weapons on them. They're all leaned up against like a tree trunk nearby. And essentially you could F them up while they're totally not armed. Or you can sneak up on them and kill them in their sleep. Or you can just lob a bomb into their crowd while they're all dancing around the fire. Or you can use your explosive arrow. There's so many ways to take out enemies. Like, if you can imagine it, you can do it.
Yeah, pretty much. They've done a really good job of that. I definitely agree with, for sure.
There's so many systems in this game. Let's
talk about the elephant in the room. I just want to get this out of the way right now.
What?
You're probably going to like it, and I fucking hate it.
Oh, the durability?
Weapon durability. I won't lie. I think for myself,
early in the game, where I'm getting to now, I'm noticing the weapons are a lot stronger.
Yeah.
At the start of the game, it almost seems like a weapon is good for one, maybe two enemies, and it breaks.
Yeah.
Which
I found a shrine that was a combat shrine, and I essentially ran out of weapons.
Oh, so that was clearly a higher than level dungeon you should have been in.
Apparently,
because
the brutal part is I got that enemy down to a quarter health, and then I ran out of weapons. And the problem was I was even trying to use bombs and other things to try and kill him, but it was having virtually no effect whatsoever. So I ended up having to pretty much die and start over.
There are even systems to like expand your inventory as well.
Yes.
Man, there's just so many systems in this game. It's crazy, and I keep learning new stuff or unlocking new stuff as I go along. It just keeps pouring more and more on me.
So for me, that is actually one thing that I really don't like, is the weapon durability. I wish there was a way that, I don't know, that certain weapons would break, but certain ones wouldn't or something.
It gets better.
I have heard better, which makes me happy.
For the most part, with the exception of what probably happened to you in the shrine, at least in the overworld, at any time when you're fighting enemies, there's usually weapons laying around.
Or you can just beat them and steal theirs.
Exactly. And or after a couple hits, usually you can get them to drop theirs. So there's usually never a shortage of weapons, but it is neat because it forces you to use different weapons, which I appreciate, because otherwise I'd always just use the best weapon for the meta, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what always happens, right?
See, and again, I don't mind that aspect of it. I like. It's just, there's been a few times now where I've got like a pretty sweet, sword or whatever it was, or an axe, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And I only have one, and it is better than everything else. Mm-hmm. And then I come across an enemy that's kind of what I need it for, and that's what I use it on. And then, of course,
it breaks.
So then suddenly that fight goes, because let's be honest here. this new Zelda, it's hard.
Oh, I've died in this Zelda more than
you quickly.
I think I've died in this Zelda game more than every Zelda up to this point put together.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I guess for me is there's definitely been times where I've been in a situation where having that weapon has more or less leveled the playing field in a way that I feel like I have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But fighting the guy or it or whatever, it breaks. And now I'm at a severe disadvantage to the point where I'm like, you know what?
Shit.
I'm just gonna leave now.
I'm just gonna go this way.
Yeah. And that really sucks.
You don't have a decent amount of arrows or anything?
Well, like, there's been a few times where I've just ran out of arrows. Now I'm realizing, like, I need to either have some or make sure I always have some, and that was partly on me, like, because initially I find rupees are not easy to come across in this game. They
get much easier. Trust me.
That's good, because
everything's kind of, you know what it is? At the start, I'm noticing it's kind of like a slow grind to get you used to those mechanics. And then it really ramps up. Like, rupees are crazy. Weapons are crazy now. Like, my weapon inventory is always full.
Yeah.
I'm like,
my weapon inventory is always full. That's not a problem.
Well, mine's always full with, like, good, decent weapons now. All, like, in the 20s or higher.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm throwing stuff away.
And that is the one thing I will say as well, is that because there's no leveling up in this game, everything that you're doing, combat, etc., is sort of set upon by the gear that you're wearing, or the sword that you're using, or other weapon. That's more what puts you toe to toe with certain enemies in certain areas, which is both a good and a bad thing. But I find myself, at least, more often than not wanting to bother with combat in the overworld, just because I know I'm not really going to get anything out of it. There's certain situations where you can see that maybe this band of bad guys.
I fight everything I see. I have, like, my arrows. I think I have almost 200 arrows.
Yeah.
I'm hoarding crafting parts. I take on enemies, like, everyone I see.
And the thing is like, for me, I know, like, I'm going to waste a bunch of arrows, maybe break a bunch of weapons, and not really get anything out of it. It's not like I'm leveling up.
There's going to be a hump that you'll cross where it's much less noticeable.
So like, for me, like, don't get me wrong, like, these are things that I'm glad they don't bother me as much as I actually thought some of them would. Like, the weapon durability was a big one for me. If in all honesty it was to go away, I would be totally happy about that.
I hear there's
fine.
Weapons in the game that don't break.
Are you talking about the Master Sword?
Maybe.
Because I do know that the Master Sword doesn't break. I also know what you need in order to get it, and that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I've been staying away from that stuff. I know it's in the game, but that's all I know.
I know exactly how to get it, and I won't spoil it for you. I'm just going to say it's not easy, and
I think you have to
I look forward to you coming across it and finding out the results of said coming across it.
Let's see. So we talked about that. Yeah, the cooking could use some work. It seems like systems that they could potentially patch. I think the one thing that would really fix cooking is that, like you said, instead of sitting at a cooking pot, that it took you straight to your ingredients. And
that's the thing. Like, I wish there was, when you walked up to the pot, instead of having like a sit button, which allows you to sit there and pause it, pass time.
You have to move to that page.
You got to go into your menu,
grab the items, and then remember what makes what. Because, like you said, I just wish there was a recipe book, and I could go into the recipe book, and if I had the ingredients, it would just make that for me. There are recipes you find, but yeah, like you said, there's no book where if you just go to the page and have the ingredients it makes that, you have to remember them. Well, and that's the thing. Like, so what's the point in coming across? Like, and I think it's so you can make fun little combinations. Because let's be honest, the little music when you cook is freaking awesome.
That is true. But this is also a Zelda game where maybe having a pen and paper beside you isn't a terrible idea.
No, absolutely not. I think
because
they kind of wanted that
to remember things like the recipes and stuff that you're cooking. You're going to have to remember them because nothing in the game will help you with that.
Was it meat and any type of meat and peppers will make cold resist basically a recipe.
Hot peppers, you mean?
Yeah, spicy peppers, whatever they're called.
You can actually cook just spicy peppers, and if afterwards that will also give you heat resistance.
Definitely more effective when you mix it with the meat, though.
Yep.
So you get more hearts. Multiples of anything gives you either more healing or more resists. So if you want more healing, you put a couple more pieces of meat in it as opposed to peppers. If you want more cold resist, you put more peppers. So it's a neat little system. It's kind of fun. I love the music, especially when you fuck up a recipe. It's pretty funny. Like the pots smashing.
Yeah. No, and again, like a lot of that stuff I really enjoy. For me, it was that main time of where I realized what I needed to do, but there was the game did a really bad job in my opinion, of such a big part of the game. Like cooking is a huge part of the game. So for them not to, I don't know, do a better job of it, at least telling you okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Cause it's super not intuitive. You don't think to go into your menu
I feel
and
like
to
they
hold
might patch
an item.
This. I feel like this might be something they patch for once.
Because to me, if I was to hold an item, I wouldn't think if I hold 5 items, I'm going to be able to cook these.
Just throw it in the fire, but you figured it out.
Like I said, I looked it up.
I figured it out. It didn't take that long, but still, it's definitely clunky. It's not too intuitive.
Yeah.
The story, I must say, is so far better than any Zelda ever. The way it's told, the voice acting. I am
really liking the story.
The voice acting, the cutscenes, the storytelling is a big reward payoff as you're exploring this world. It's freaking great. You come to a new place, you meet some new person, you get a cutscene with voices and stuff. Of course, Link doesn't say shit. But
I just want to point out he comes across as being a big asshole because they didn't let him talk.
The other characters are voice acted so well.
I know. It kind of bothers me, to be honest with you, the fact that Link doesn't talk now, but everybody else does.
I don't think they could voice him. If they did, I think the internet would explode because they would love it or hate it, and I think more people would hate it just for the sake of the internet.
I don't know.
It is such a good game, man. I want to just go play it right now. I think about it every waking moment. I'm making some pretty good progress. I'll tell you one thing. It makes me wish in Horizon I had a freaking paraglider. Because I've been jumping back and forth between the two.
Right.
And actually, I'll talk more about Horizon when I talk about our free-for-all section. Because I still have been playing Horizon.
Right.
But man, there's some stuff in Zelda that I wish Horizon did. And they're both open world games, but oh my god, they're so different.
Yeah, I could see that.
They're so different. They share some similarities, but man, there's some stuff like the open world RPG is they're totally different. I don't know, Zelda just took so much stuff from so many games, which is a first for Nintendo.
Oh, totally. Because normally Nintendo took things from their old games, but
they just do their own thing and ignore everything else that's happening in the world. So it's really cool that they took some of that stuff in this game. It's oh man, I'm having.
Like I said, it is easily the best Zelda game since Ocarina of Time, and
I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's the best Zelda game.
I am enjoying the crap out of it. That isn't an issue. I really do like it.
I feel like they might patch some of that stuff for once. But
there are a few things about it that really bug me.
Like the new Nintendo, they patched stuff in Splatoon. They patched stuff in Mario Kart. I feel like working or tweaking some of these systems, like cooking and stuff, might not totally be out of the realm for Nintendo this time around. And it looks great. It's very stylized. It looks fantastic. On that little screen, it looks great. On the TV, it looks like an anime. Such a cool art style.
It does have some fairly momentous frame rate issues from time to time. I will say that if they're going to patch anything, I would actually really like them to improve some of the frame rate from moments.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been an issue to the point where I'm like, wow, this is terrible all the time or anything, but there's been some stuff where it didn't really seem like there was any reason, and all of a sudden, like, the frame rate just took a massive nosedive.
I don't know. Obviously, in tablet mode, they're saying performs better because it's only 720p versus 900p in console mode. To be honest, like, I'm going to sound like a total asshole, but on my new TV, it has, like, a smoothing functionality that really counters the frame dips, which is kind of ridiculous.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really, really strange.
Interesting.
It definitely dips, but it's not as noticeable as I noticed on my other TV. Because I had my other TV first.
There's definitely, like, there's been definitely some moments
it drops
where
down
I'm
to
like,
about
wow.
20 when it gets into the big open world. Yeah. Yeah, but again, could be performance patch, who knows, right?
Yeah, I would like that. I really would.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, pretty dope. I'm hoping to maybe get my hands on snipper clips and less excitedly want to switch.
Yeah.
Nintendo might provide us with that. We'll see. And then we can talk about some using the Joy-Cons and other functions of the system, which clearly I'm not, because it's literally been the Zelda machine. I don't know. If Nintendo was to close up shop tomorrow and never make another game, I would not regret owning the system.
No, me neither.
That's how happy I am with the Zelda. But I am I'm very biased. So y'all knew I was swinging on Nintendo's nuts since they announced this thing. I'm like, I'm getting a Switch. I'm getting Zelda. I don't care. Like, I've been saying that for months now.
I want to say that I really like it. I think it's an awesome game. Easily best Zelda game in years.
Have you?
And I'm impressed. I love the horseback riding is really cool.
I was going to say, have you done any taming?
Yeah, I have a horse.
So you registered a horse at the stables. Yeah, like at a point in the game, you come across stables, and there's stables actually all over the world.
Yeah, which is nice because if you get too far away from your horse, then you can't call it.
I've seen 2 stables so far. You can register up to 5 horses. So they kind of have a mechanic where you'll see wild horses, and if you sneak up to them, you jump on them, and depending on whether it's the solid colored horses, or apparently they're the more wild horses, and basically you jump on them, and then you gotta calm them using your stamina, like rapidly tapping it, and hopefully you don't run out of stamina before they calm down. And
or buck you off.
Yeah, if you run out of stamina before they come down, they buck you off, they run away, you can try again.
Great.
Eventually, when you do calm them, you can go to the stable, register them, and then you will always have access to that horse.
You can also name them when you go to the stable.
Yeah, you can name them. And
I named mine Whiskers.
And as you ride them and they do stuff, they follow your orders, you can soothe them, and then they get little hearts come off of them, and you grow a bond with your horse.
Also, as I noticed, before you have much of a bond, after you tame them, for lack of a better term, they won't necessarily go straight or go in the direction that you want. They don't even
listen to you at all.
Yeah, so then you got to soothe them, and as you grow the bond with the horse, that will happen less and less.
Yeah, and then they have
cool.
Like, different stats: strength, speed. Can't remember what the other one was.
Like attitude, whether or not they're wild or whether or not they're calm.
Yes. Did you know that your horses can attack enemies?
I did not.
I got attacked by a big, giant freaking moblin, like one of the big guys.
Yeah.
Have you seen them? The giant ones? Usually hold like a tree trunk type weapon. They're pretty big.
Okay, no, I have not seen one of those.
They got like skinny snouts. They're like taller. They're about the height of 2 of the little enemies, the red guys.
Oh, okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, I was fighting one of them, and my horse got scared, and then my horse just started bucking the enemy and damaging him.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I'll take any help I can get in some of those
It
fights
was
in that
fucking
game.
sweet. He like charged the enemy and then just started bucking the shit out of him. It was hilarious.
Nice.
And I didn't do anything to prompt it. He just got pissed off. He's like, "You're attacking my owner."
I know a bad guy on horseback ran up and one hit me while I was trying to run across the world.
Shit.
I was running away, and then I thought I was out of.
Was it a guy on a horse, or was it like a minotaur type guy?
No, it was a dude on a horse.
Oh, I haven't seen that guy. Found another big baddie.
Oh yeah, no. There's been a few times where
this guy
ran across the regular dudes on horseback, and the first time I was like, "Oh shit!" I'll just kind of go over here, and then all of a sudden the little exclamation mark. He's like, "Oh!" and he starts chasing me. And yeah, I thought I was free, and then all of a sudden, like
every combat encounter, it's life or death.
It's a little bit stressful.
Any enemy can kill you, essentially.
Oh yeah,
or a group of enemies quite quickly. It can. I can take these guys out, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, run away.
I just want to talk about Amiibo before we move on because we've been talking about this forever. But so it's got Amiibo
like
support in the Switch.
Of them.
You can tap on the right Joy-Con in Zelda. You actually have an Amiibo rune on your Sheikah tablet if you turn it on. You have to turn it on in the settings. So
what does that get you?
Any of the Zelda ones do different things.
Okay.
I can't remember what they all do. Some of them give you really cool weapons, like strong weapons.
Oh.
One of them.
Do those weapons break?
What's that? Yeah, they break. They're they're good weapons. If you can scan them once a day. So say you had no weapons, you can load up on decent weapons. They give you different stuff every day. So depending how many times you've tapped a certain one, you'll get different, bits of gear. So, I think the Smash Brothers Link gives you Epona, which is like a full stat horse that you don't have to tame.
Really?
Twilight, Wolf, the Twilight,
can you ride the wolf in the game?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
You unlock Wolf Link and he follows you around as like a companion and attacks enemies.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And he lasts forever.
Oh, wow.
He has 3 hearts and he lasts until he dies.
Wow.
And you can feed him so he doesn't die. He's freaking awesome. He's pretty awesome.
So what you're telling me is that finally, after a year of
the Amiibo sort in this game is really good.
Having
one of the other
Amiibos is finally working out for you.
One of the other links, I've tapped it a couple times now. I've gotten different pieces. Every time I tap it, I get a different piece of classic Link outfits.
Oh, cool.
So like I've
armor or just like outfits?
Like the tunic and the armor of I've gotten a mix of 2 different, I think every day is a different piece. So every time I tap that Amiibo, I can't remember specifically which one it is, I'm getting a different, classic Link green tunic outfit. I think they have the one from Ocarina, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Almost get me to buy a few Amiibos. I'm not saying I'd buy all of them, but
it's
I would
pretty funny
maybe purchase a couple.
So when you tap one, a bunch of crafting materials, whether it'll be either food or other stuff, will fall out of the sky. And this game is very physics heavy.
Yeah.
So the stuff will come flying out of the air, it'll just rain down on the ground, and then a treasure chest will fall and usually splatter that stuff and send it all over the place. It's just kind of funny.
Oh, jeez. That's funny.
Yeah, man, Zelda. It's a great game. I love my Switch. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I guess
I'm glad I kept my pre-order. I'm glad I kept my pre-order. I can say that for sure.
We can get into the news, I think.
I haven't been playing anything else. That's what I've been playing.
Yeah. I've been playing Horizon, but I want to talk about that when I talked about my TV. I got a new TV. That's what we're going to talk about in the free-for-all. That's the part where I'm an asshole and you can all hate me.
Such a dick.
It's a pretty funny story, though.
New TV.
You might enjoy the story.
All right.
So we shared a link on the site and Twitter. You probably saw it. Just some early general starting tips, which isn't too spoilery or too ain't gonna really ruin any of the surprises. It's just some tips on stuff you should have learned, and if you didn't, you might have missed. So we're not gonna go through it. we'll probably talk more about Zelda and maybe talk about some of the stuff next week.
Oh, I'm sure.
Let more people play it, and then we can start sharing some more tips, which are kind of like spoilery, I'd say. But yeah, if you want to learn some stuff that'll help you on your way, definitely have a look at that link. There's tons of stuff, and this is just all stuff like Dane was saying that isn't necessarily spelled out, or that you might not figure out, or you might not see at all.
Yeah,
because you just didn't talk to the right person, or you took a left instead of a right. Like, that's how different everyone's experience in this game is going to be. Like, to be honest,
for sure,
my horse has killed me probably more times than, well, that's a lie now because I've had some big boss fights. But up until today, I think my horse had killed me more than any enemy had killed me in the game.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Yeah, I managed. Don't catch your horse on fire. They don't like that.
No, they don't. I do want to point out that if you are like me and having the Y button as your jump button drove you fucking nuts,
you can flip it to the B button.
You can change that to the B button.
Yeah, I did that right
makes
away.
A lot more sense. So if that's,
I wish you could map the buttons any way you like. Cause it drives me nuts that every time I move forward, I click the left stick in expecting to run, and I crouch. Clicking the right stick should crouch, and clicking the left stick should run.
Yeah.
I hope they add that.
Thanks, Nintendo.
We shared a link from the guys at Digital Foundry. They did a comparison between the Wii U version and Switch to see whether it's worth getting. Yes, the Switch version performs better. It looks a little better. But not so much.
Performance issues are virtually the same, just in different places across the two. But the Switch version does
overall
look better.
The Switch looks better and overall runs better. So if that's what you wanted, your justification to buy a Switch, there is a difference. Not so much to be like the Wii U version is trash, but the Switch version is definitely better. Destiny. Man, we haven't talked about Destiny in a while.
What's Destiny?
They had a stream last week, because they've been kind of mum with nothing going on lately. And
they've been pretty quiet, actually.
They had a stream talking about the future of Destiny and what's going on with the current, like, next events for the current player base. If you're still playing it, which I haven't played it since October or September last year.
I played and beat the last expansion and stopped playing. I
burned through the Rise Iron, did some extra stuff, and then that's it. So anyway, they just mentioned that nothing's carrying over besides your character personalization.
Right.
Specifically class, race, gender, face, and hair markings. If you've passed level 20 and beaten the main campaign story.
Right.
So you can carry over your character customization. So none of the weapons or any of that stuff that you spent 600 plus hours on.
If you're into it.
It was pretty obvious because the next game's going to be a pretty big departure from this version. I think from stories we've heard with Destiny, how much of a bitch it is to add content and modify that world just because of the engine and tools that they used. They're just kind of, I think they have to scrap it all to make something that's more future friendly for potentially actually carrying your progress forward into, say, Destiny 3 and 4 and so forth.
I've heard as well that the tools that they were using were super clunky to make updates and stuff. So
that was a big thing. And then in terms of content, where is it? I lost the story. I just freaking had it here. They're bringing back all the raids. They're leveling up all the old raids. So if you hadn't done them, there is some incentive for people to do them. Well, then again, I don't know if there's really any incentive because, again, nothing carries over. So maybe just if you wanted to play some of that old stuff, if you missed it, you could essentially do it now.
And then I can essentially uninstall Destiny 1 now.
They're also bringing the
2.
Age of Triumph book, and apparently if you hit rank 7, you'll get a t-shirt with your PSN or Xbox Live name on it.
Ooh.
an emblem or something. I think the t-shirt is not free. You have to pay for it. And from what I remember, the last t-shirt they gave out from last year's Book of Triumphs was way too much effort to make it worthwhile.
I'm half surprised you don't have one.
Destiny is done. Destiny 2, hopefully. That's
great. I can uninstall it on my PS4 and hope that the Destiny 2 comes out on the PC.
It'll be exciting to see. I imagine they're probably going to talk about it at E3.
Man, I really hope it comes out on PC.
I feel like at E3 to come out in September is pretty short. Maybe we'll see something sooner.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I feel like November would be maybe a better time frame for that. September seems awfully soon, but
this next story was kind of funny. Bolivia has fucking complained to the French government about Ghost Recon Wildlands because they feel like it portrays their country in a bad light. Because Ghost Recon Wildlands takes place in a cartel.
In an alternate future.
Bolivia is just ran by the cartels, and it's, let's be honest.
I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's a work of fiction.
It's not far from the truth. Bolivia is very unsafe. A lot of violent crime, a lot of drug crime. Cartels are there. It's one of the biggest exporters of cocaine. It's like, it's not a stretch. You've got better stuff to do, Bolivia, than try and, I don't even know what they're like. What's the French embassy gonna do? Oh man, we're sorry. Here's some money. No, they're not gonna give money. They're not gonna do anything. It's a video game. It's a work of fiction.
Yeah, I don't know. It's mildly amusing, but
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a work of fiction. I mean,
funny.
If we were gonna get upset about that, then we would not like how Canada was portrayed in the South Park movie. I mean,
oh hell no. And they say we all live in igloos. Like, what the hell?
Fuck you, man. I love my igloo.
You got a heated one?
No.
Overwatch new character Orisa has been unveiled. She's playable in the public test realm, not in the main. She's not public yet. You can create a test realm character if you really want to try her. She's a tank, 4-legged robotic tank. People are saying she's pretty sweet.
Yeah, like
she looks
super
really cool.
Big on the defense.
She looks really cool. I have not played her, but Overwatch giving you free characters, free maps, buy it once. That's, I don't know, nothing wrong with that. I already talked about this. The old raids come to Destiny. I did that totally out of order.
Way to go, buddy.
And we finally got gameplay for Middle of Earth Shadow of War. We talked about the leak. Was it last week or the week before?
No, it was last week.
Yeah, they Target leaked that the game was coming, and then, of course, WP's like, oh, shit. Okay, next week there's going to be gameplay. It's a 15-minute trailer of insanity. This game looks fucking sweet.
It's not even, I mean, it's a gameplay. It's like a 15 or 16-minute gameplay. I mean, I guess we could call it a trailer. It's like 50 minutes of gameplay, and it looks insane. They've expanded the Nemesis system in so many ways. It's nuts. Like in the first game,
if you like the first game, or even if you never played the first game, you should watch this trailer if you like anything Lord of the Rings.
It looks nuts. It honestly does. They're utilizing systems and things and it looks
just an even grander scale than the first game.
Oh yeah. It honestly, just go watch it. Go Google Middle Earth Shadow of War. It will pop up. Watch it. Check that shit out. If you haven't played the first one, do yourself a favor. Get that shit on Xbox One or PS4 or PC. This thing looks nuts. It's made by the guys over at Monolith. They've been making some rad video games for many years now, and this looks they're doing some cool shit. This whole Nemesis system looks nuts. because not only does it affect the enemies like in the first game, it's now affecting you and your posse essentially, and you can create guys that are loyal to you, and they have guys, and you're essentially creating an army. It looks crazy. I saw in 15 minutes, it's one of those trailers that I watched and I went, holy fuck, this changes everything. Looks cool. Go check it out.
I was just reading while you were talking about that. I figure I'd talk about it now. The Division announced their year 2 plans.
Right.
There's going to be a couple expansions, a bunch of content, gear, and stuff, and it's all going to be free.
What? Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So starting March 9th to 16th, basically tomorrow, there'll be XP bonuses and credits, followed by 2 separate expansions planned for release later this year.
Wow.
And it's all free. So
that's really cool.
People are both happy and disappointed because, unfortunately, some of the information was quite vague. And in the fact that it was vague, I guess people are figuring out that it might not be the most exciting free content, but
hey, free content in a game, if that's what you're down and you're playing it still, then
it's pretty
good
sweet
for you.
that they're adding more expansions. Like, normally a game like this, Division's Destiny's the closest comparison to the Division in terms of like a multiplayer / MMO. Probably just stuff to hold us over until Division 2. Division was a lot of fun. Division is a great game. I've been meaning to go back, but god damn it, 2017 won't fucking let up.
No, it's
relentless.
The Division for me was, I really enjoyed it when it came out. I played through the single player. I played a bunch of the co-op stuff. I enjoyed my time with it, but whenever I've tried to go back to it now, one, there's just too many good games that are either out or coming out, and I just don't have time. And two, now that I've been out of it for a while, I don't know, I get back into the game, and I go in, I look around, I go, oh, this is kind of cool, and then I close it, and then I go play something else.
I updated it a couple weeks ago and launched it, and then I'm like, I don't know what to do. There's so much new stuff.
I think I may have actually uninstalled it at this point, just because I felt that there was too many other things that I wanted to play, and it was taking up space. So, I'm hoping Ghost Recon Wildlands will pretty much probably take its place in the not too distant future. So,
I want to go back and play more, but man.
I mean, we got Nier just came out. Ghost Recon Wildlands just came out.
I got my Neo. Remember I ordered Neo? That magically showed up, which I totally forgot about.
Yep, so there's another one. And all of these games are getting 8s, 9s, 10s everywhere. Like, these are all highly rated games at this point. None of these are like, oh, well, maybe it's an okay game. No, these are all awesome games for all intents and purposes. Obviously Zelda Breath of the Wild is out. It's crazy. I don't have, I'd need to take a week off work just to be able to play through half of these. So yeah, and there's more on the horizon. I mean, we've got Mass Effect Andromeda coming in, another week? Is it 2 weeks away now? I mean, it's right there. It's right around the corner. Yeah, and then Persona 5, beginning of April. That's apparently another huge, massive game that is apparently phenomenal. I'm hearing really good things about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
I do not see myself kind of being able to wander back to something unless it's, at least not right now. Maybe in the summer there'll be a bigger enough lull that I'll get some of this stuff finished and be able to go back and take a breather. But man, right now it's like, what is this? The fall? It's freaking March, for crying out loud. We've seen more games come out in the first 3 months of this year than
It's
the first 6 months of last year, 7 months, maybe all of last year. I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy right now. I feel bad if you're a gamer in a way because your wallet is just hurting. It's in a lot of pain.
Yeah. My wallet is in a lot of pain.
Apparently.
I guess that's it for news.
Yep.
PSAs, public service announcements. By the time you listen to this, PlayStation 4 system update 4.0 will probably be out. That's the
4.5, you mean?
4.5. What did I say?
4.0.
4.0. 0.5. Same thing.
4.5 is out,
external hard drive support.
That's awesome.
Bunch of other features.
They're improving 2D images in PSVR, which is sweet.
Yeah.
They're adding voice chat for remote play.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So,
off console availability, which is going to allow.
so that's for Windows, Mac, or Xperia device. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So you can actually play and voice chat with your friends via remote play.
Off console apps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Shows that they're
boost mode for PS4 Pro is coming.
Yeah.
Which people have said games have seen increases like Bloodborne and multiple other titles getting a bump in frame rate and getting a little smoother. Pretty sweet.
Excellent.
And I guess they're updating some of their apps as well on iOS and Android, which is kind of cool. So the external hard drive support is probably the biggest thing. Well, next to boost mode for anyone who has a Pro.
For me, the external hard drive is dope. That makes me happy.
A lot of people have been clamoring for that because using a Phillips screwdriver to pull out a screw and put in a hard drive is too difficult for most human beings. I'm just kidding. A kid.
Got nothing to do with it.
It's a pain in the ass.
For me, it's the whole backing up everything that's on there.
Yeah.
Getting the
it's easy
new stuff. It's
not that easy because you think you can just put in the hard drive. You can't. You have to download the firmware on a FAT32 formatted USB stick, which, most people, when they format their USB, it's going to be NTFS or some wrong file system, so they won't see it. So you'll put in this empty hard drive in your system, put in the USB, and it's like, there's no files on this USB. And you're like, what the fuck? I put them on there. And then you got to figure out, you got to format it the right way. And then you got to download this file, which is not the easiest file to find on Sony's site. And it takes forever. And then if you backed up one PS4, depending on how much shit you had on it, that can take like 5 to 10, 12 hours. And then you do it all over again. I don't speak of this from experience. Obviously, I've done it like 3 times. It is annoying, but
exactly. So for me, if I can just plug a hard drive in and allow me to have more storage, I'm happy
ugly.
with that.
I hate it.
Yeah,
my Xbox has a tiny hard drive sticking out the back. I can't even see it. I know it's there, and it bugs me.
See, and that is what I will have on my PS4.
I know, it's
tiny little hard drive.
It's
that
so
you won't
stupid.
Even be able to see.
That's how stupid I am. It's ridiculous. It just bugs me.
You have a problem,
I have a lot of problems. I know, and a lot of people know. Everyone knows. Yeah, so that's cool. I'm excited to see boost mode. Not like I have time to go back and play any games that are going to be updated, but, well, they don't need to be updated. It just automatically gives you access to more of the PS4's power, which is freaking great.
There you go.
So, I guess we can get into our free-for-all.
Yes, Rick.
Funny story. This relates to a lot of stories that I have told on the podcast. It's not that funny, so don't get excited, anyone. There's no nudity here, or anything really exciting. This is
really
super OCD, anal geek problems with technology story.
I kind of don't even care about it now.
So, okay, there's boobs too. big, fake, sexy boobs. Does that make it better? Hot chicks. Maybe. G-strings. Is it getting better? No.
What are we playing? Conan Exiles? Like, seriously.
No. So,
okay.
You guys have heard me bitch about my PS4 and my TV picture cutting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I had been working on this issue.
You ended up getting like a new PS4 Pro because you thought maybe
Yep,
the PS4
I got
Pro
a
was an
PS4
issue.
Pro because I thought it was the Pro.
Turns out it was your TV.
Turns out it's the TV.
Told you.
So,
No, it's not the TV. I'm really sure it's not the TV.
okay, well, just let me continue. So, I finally gave in. I'm like, okay, it's got to be the stupid TV.
All right.
As I was having issues with TV, I couldn't help but notice that actually my screen was damaged, and I had never noticed it before.
What?
Yeah, but with all this picture cutting in and out, I happened to be close to my TV, and there was about a 1-inch black line, like as if the screen had been pinched or damaged in shipping.
Oh, interesting.
And obviously, the farther you get away, it like kind of dithers and you don't see it.
Right.
After about 5 feet, you can't see it, but it's still fucking there. So that made me very freaking upset. So what I did was I ordered another TV. I bought this TV from Costco. They don't carry it in store, so I had to order one online. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm going to order another one, and then I'm just going to take back the busted one, yada, yada, right? Long story short, the other TV shows up like 2 weeks later.
Same problem.
Nope. It actually doesn't cut out. So it was that something was wrong with that TV as well. The new TV, same TV, didn't do it anymore. Ta-da!
Wonderful.
I'm like, cool, sweet. And then this TV has a giant thumb-size hotspot 3 inches off from the center of the screen.
No way.
So like a dim gray blob just kind of floating wherever you're moving the screen.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, fuck that shit.
That's
not the most expensive TV, but I don't give a shit. I'm not putting up with that crap.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's 2 TVs, fuck it. I'm not bothering with another. So last weekend, not the weekend that just passed, the weekend before, I didn't tell any of this story because I was waiting until this story got resolved to have this awesome story. We go to Costco, I'm carting 2 TVs off to Costco and we return them both. So now I have no TV in the office.
Right. You're short a TV now.
Yeah. So meanwhile, this whole time, I had ordered another one of these Vizios in the living room to replace our Samsung that died.
Right.
No image issues with that one. No blobs, no dead pixels, nothing. That one's perfect.
Good. So you mounted it and you're happy.
We're at Costco and I'm like, well, I need a TV. They had LG, which I had looked at the ratings and it had been pretty well received. 4K HDR, 55-inch, same price as the Vizio.
Not the OLED though.
Not OLED, is IPS.
Okay.
Apparently the Vizios are a VA panel.
Yep.
So IPS, obviously better than VA for viewing angles and colors.
Yeah, they have their pluses and their minuses.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going to order another Vizio. So I bring the LG home. It's great. Looks good. Nothing wrong with it. And then my wife's like, you know what? I don't like this TV. The one after seeing the one in the office, she's like, I want the LG and you can have the Vizio. And I'm like, for fuck's sakes. I'm like, fuck this. We're taking the Vizio back. Actually, no, we didn't decide this yet. Okay. She had been noticing that she's going from a plasma to an LCD, which is that's hard. That's earth shattering.
That's hard.
It's a very noticeable difference. They don't make you can't buy a plasma anymore. The closest thing, the plasma replacement is an OLED, and I'm not spending $4,000, $5,000.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually really kind of happy that I'm playing Zelda on my plasma because playing games on that plasma again made me realize how sweet of a TV that is, and I kind of never want to get rid of it. It's a dope TV.
It's 600.
It's so nice.
It's 300 to 600 hertz. I don't know what type of plasma you have, but it's huge high hertz, and it's very nice for fast motion.
I got a Panasonic plasma.
So it's a 600 hertz?
Yep.
So yeah, it's fucking great. The Panasonics are awesome.
Yeah.
So to go from a plasma to an LCD, it's like, this looks fucking weird.
Especially if you don't turn off the stupid smoothing and all the other bullshit that they stick on all of them.
Anyway, long story short, we were out getting our cars fixed last week downtown, and we happened to walk by the audio video store. I'm
Okay.
like, I just want to poke my head in here for fun. Excuse me, I need a second. I'm about to sneeze here. You're supposed to talk.
Oh, sorry. You got to specify this stuff. I'm just expecting, you're in the middle of a story and you're like, oh yeah, hold on. I got to sneeze. I'm like, okay, well, what do you...
It'll be very
Did you just
violent.
hurry up and do it already?
No, I made it go away.
Ah.
My sneezes are violent, so I
Okay.
had to step back for a sec. So we're going by the audio video store Atlas downtown. They're well known. They're like high end. They're not like they're above a mom pop. They're a mini brick and mortar or big box store.
Okay. So sort of like a local chain then?
Yeah, there's more. There's like I think 80 stores across. They're partnered with some other audio video store.
What are they called?
Atlas Audio Video. I think they're partnered. Who are they partnered with? Not Visions, but some other like indie like audio video chain.
I was gonna say I've never heard of them.
Yeah, they're partnered with stores in Vancouver, but it's a different chain. I can't remember the name he said.
Okay.
Anyway, he said they're like 80 stores. So throughout Canada.
Sweet.
So whatever. They're always known in Victoria. They're the custom install guys, like Control 4, the super high end homes.
Right. So if you if you need like a sweet like
people
car
with
stereo
money
put in, they're the guys
they don't
that
do
would
car
do it.
stereos. It's all home
Okay.
theater. All the fancy projectors, the $1 million home theater. Like these are the guys that do all the crazy shit that Best
Right.
Buy, the tards at Best Buy don't do. Sorry for lack of a better word. They're not
Okay.
tards. I apologize. That was a bad use of word. The children that work at Best Buy. Like these are professional installers.
Right.
So they have all the high end models. They don't carry like your cheap ass TVs.
Vizio stuff.
They got high end TVs and all, crazy audio systems and Sonos and all, just everything that's expensive. They have it.
Got it.
So we go in there and I was like, I'm like, I like poking my head in there because it's like candy.
So they have all the cool shit, but you can't afford it because it's
like
expensive.
it's like going to the Ferrari dealership, right?
Of course.
It's like the tech Ferrari shop.
Yeah.
So I poke
now
my
you're
head
talking
in
my
there.
Language.
I poke my head in there.
Yeah.
And what do I see?
You see the TV that you actually want.
I see the TV that I wanted from the get-go, but I didn't get because it was super expensive. Sitting next to the fucking LG TV that I have currently. Like,
And
what
you
are
went,
the...
Oh my god. Why didn't I buy
What
that
are the
one instead?
fucking chances? Like, honestly, what are the chances that the TV I have is sitting next to the one that I actually wanted?
Right.
That's ridiculous.
So now you can do a complete apples to apples comparison of the two TVs and find out whether or not the one that you actually wanted, if it's worth it or not.
So part of the reason the TV we were talking about is a Samsung 55-inch. It's a KS8000. It's their 8 series quantum dot SU super UHD bullshit, blobbity marketing bullshit, blobbity blah.
Right.
At the time that I originally got that Vizio last September, it was like a $2,500 TV. So after taxes and all that shit, you're getting upwards of $3,000. That's a lot of money for a fucking office TV.
It is.
I'm like, I'm not going to...
quite a few video games on
I
it, though.
do.
It's not like
So like that's one of the things I kind of...
it's something you're not going to get used.
So this LG I was very happy with. It was definitely better than the Vizio. But my wife was giving me the gears about she hated the Vizio and was going to make me take it.
Fair
So
enough.
anyway, I see this TV and not only is it on sale, the guy's like, I'll give it to you for this much. And then I hum and haw a little bit and I'm like, you son of a bitch. That's like totally putting it in my range of where this is an acceptable.
He saw you coming.
Is an acceptable purchase. And then he dropped it off even more. It's $1,600 from
Very nice.
From $2,500 had I bought it just in September.
It's because he knows the new ones are on the way, man. So
The new ones are on the way, but there is no major improvements over that model and this New Year's model. So I don't feel at a loss for getting that. I'm actually
No, of course.
I'm pretty happy. So I told him like, will you offer that price on Monday? And he's like, I will. And I'm like, hey, I have one thing. I have to go return a TV to Costco, and if they return it, then I will be here on Monday. So long story short, packed up the Vizio, took it back to Costco, got my full money back, and
Wow, very nice.
for a few $100s. Well, not a few, but a little bit more. I got a really good deal on the TV I wanted to begin with. And yeah, my wife has the LG and I have the Samsung, and oh my fucking god, this TV. Oh my god.
So the Vizio was okay, but
No,
now
the Vizio was
Samsung
fantastic. The Vizio as a gaming TV for anyone out there, on a budget, especially like in the States, that TV has been on sale for like $800, $700.
Right.
It's a fantastic gaming TV. Like, I loved it. I had it for months with no complaints until I started having the issues with the PS4 Pro and the damage, which started all of this.
Right.
But Jesus Christ, it doesn't even come close to the Samsung. This thing fucking looks insane. Not only does it have like a millimeter thick like bezel,
Yep.
it literally has no bezel except for the bottom. It has like a centimeter wide silver like metallic band with like a light up Samsung logo on it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a 240 hertz, so it's like double the refresh rate of the Vizio and the LG. Wow. This thing's fucking awesome. It's so, it's amazing.
So it's everything you hoped it would be and more.
So speaking of Horizon, and last week when I was turned off the HDR,
Right, because your TV was fucked.
I put HDR on this, and
It blew your mind.
it's so drastic. It literally, when you play it without HDR, Horizon is a beautiful game.
Right.
One of the best looking games ever. But it looks like a video game.
Right.
But when you turn HDR on in Horizon,
It doesn't look like a video game anymore.
it looks like something totally different. It's crazy. The lighting effects, how much it changes. It moves and feels different. I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe, I guess the closest thing is like going from 2D animation to Pixar. Like, it's just such a different look and feel.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it looks amazing. And on this TV, it looks frickin' amazing because this TV is got fantastic HDR mode. This TV is
Right.
also Digital Foundry's like best pick for
Top pick or whatever? Yeah.
lowest latency for a mid-ranged gaming. Like, it's not top of the line because you can go with the 9000 series or the OLEDs, but that you're getting $5,000 TVs. Like, fuck that. That's too much money. That's a
lot of money.
That's a waste of money because
That's a hold on for another year and they'll be half that money and then you feel like an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely. Those TVs, maybe not quite a year, but
2 years from now they'll be
definitely,
Yeah.
2 years from now, you're going to pay $2,000 for an OLED, right?
Exactly.
Right now you're paying 4 or 5.
Oh, they're less than that for a smaller one.
Yeah, for a small one, but you want to fucking...
No, I don't mean small as in 32 inches. I mean small as in 46 inches or 50 inches.
Yeah, no, you don't want that.
I was
to be
pretty
bigger.
surprised how,
Yeah.
you can get a 55-inch one for
heard that-
right.
But I think
So-
I think you got to spend some money for a good one with good latency. But they're essentially...
is LG's the only person making the OLED ones currently. Sony's should be out in the summer.
They're essentially basically the replacement for plasma.
Yeah, their blacks are beautiful.
That being said, oh my god, this Samsung, black is black, man. It looks like the panel's off.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in Horizon in the map screen, in the black areas of the map,
yeah,
it's black. It's amazing. Oh, I'm so impressed. I'm so happy. It was
because that's the one thing I like. That's a big thing I've noticed.
Well, I noticed
playing Zelda on my plasma again. I'm just like, wow, I forgot like the color, like the blacks on this TV are just incredible.
Oh yeah, the plasmas had huge contrast ratio.
Yeah,
plasmas are nice.
Yeah,
my parents have a plasma right now, and I'm scared when that thing dies because when I get them a replacement, it's going to be like, this doesn't look as good as my last TV.
It's true.
It's definitely going to happen. This.
Oh, yeah. I know.
So,
like I said, it was a bit of a rough transition. I mean, I'm glad I still have the plasma because I think, it's an awesome TV. So
it was a long road getting here.
oh my goodness. I can't believe you took back that many TVs.
Thank my patient wife.
No kidding.
The really cool thing about the Samsung is it also has a one connect cable. It actually doesn't have any inputs on the back of the TV.
Yeah, it has a little
basic
fiber optic one that runs from the TV down, right?
I don't know if it's fiber optic, but it's like a thick HDMI cable that goes to a little breakout box that has all your inputs on it.
Yeah.
And it's not even powered. Like, it's just a tiny little breakout box. It's 4 inputs. And guess what? All 4 inputs do 4K HDR, making my Switch that I bought unnecessary.
So nice. Except for the Switch not being necessary anymore.
So, which is fine, because actually I'm still using the Switch because I'm keeping one of the inputs free, and my Switch actually has like my PSVR on it and my Wii U still. So
right.
I kept the non 4K stuff to the Switch, and all basically my Xbox and PS4 straight to the TV.
Right.
It's the TV even turns on my PS4. If I turn the TV on, it turns on my PS4.
Shouldn't it be the other way around? Like if you turn your PS4 on, your TV would turn to that input?
I don't have it turned on the TV side. I have it turned on the PS4 side. So yeah, I was gonna flip it, because it is kind of weird turning the TV on and the PS4. Well, it's fine, but I don't always want to use the PS4.
Right. So like how I have it set up on my TV out in the main area is that if you're on the TV and you're on the hub, like the home menu or whatever, and you turn on the PS4, it'll automatically go to that input.
Yeah.
Or whatever other input.
The HDMI CEC or whatever they call that functionality.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
It is kind of cool. It's neat.
Yeah.
I haven't played with my Xbox yet. I should probably see what that looks like, but holy crap. Horizon, unreal. So that's why I've been playing a lot of Horizon 2. And that game's really good, man. I kind of wish it came out earlier, or that I got it earlier so I could have beaten it. I'm actually pretty far in it. I'm level 20. And
oh, wow.
Like, I think I'm in the high 20% completion rate on my save.
Fair enough.
I've played quite a bit. I've unlocked a lot of stuff. I've gotten a couple trees right to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Level 21. I just hit 21. That game's good. Wow. The combat in that game is so good.
I need to play way more of that game.
That game, speaking of like Zelda being hard, that game's hard. If you just think you can sit there shooting arrows at enemies, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You have to pick apart their weaknesses. You have to scan them and pay attention to their weaknesses. When you scan the enemy, it highlights it so that when you turn off your focus, you can see all their weak points.
Okay.
You don't need to, because you'll get to a point where you memorize where their weak points are. But if you forget, you just scan them quickly with your focus during battle or before you fight them. And then for a while during combat, they will actually have all their weak points like highlighted yellow. And then you'll know, because with the enemies, it's not just, headshots do more damage. Headshots on some enemies do very little or no damage. Unless you tear the armor off of them. And then some enemies, their body is susceptible to fire damage, and some other enemies, they're susceptible to the hard point arrows. So you gotta mix it up, change your arrow types, be specific about what areas you're attacking. And like if you pay attention to the elemental weaknesses as well, that totally puts enemies into their weakened state, or the state where they're totally like open for critical damage.
Right. Which is, especially with certain characters, that's like huge,
like the Sabertooths are weak to fire damage to their body.
Right.
So if you hit them with a bunch, not a bunch, but a few fire arrows, what'll happen is they'll just start wigging out and freaking out, and then it gives you a break. They're not chasing you down relentlessly, and then you can hit them with some big big stuff, or set up some traps so that once they, get out of that stun, they'll like run right into some booby traps that you set up for them, which if you're not using tripwires, oh man, those things do tons of damage.
Right, and especially when you can see where the guys are going to go, you can set them up properly.
Or if they're like freaking out while, like, say the cat's on fire, they're flicking around, rolling around and freaking out, you could be tearing armor off of them just to make your headshots more effective, or your body shots more effective as well.
Nice.
There's a lot of systems in the combat. When you pay attention, enemies are tough because you're not fighting them properly in that game, I've found.
Interesting. Okay.
So, like, if you find you're having a hard time with an enemy, it's because you're not paying attention to their weaknesses or using the right weapons. Because when you use the right weapons on an enemy that is normally very scary is like a fucking cakewalk. So if you're having trouble, you can't figure it out on your own, I'm sure there's guys on YouTube that have done videos that probably show you the best ways to attack certain enemies. Because as you blow up their weaknesses and stuff, it creates more openings, and, it basically stun locks them too for you to also unload damage on them, because they're reacting to getting, parts blown off or the type of damage you've done to them affecting them, which is really cool.
Man, I gotta play more of that game, but it's so hard because
I've been playing Zelda in tablet mode.
Yeah.
When I'm on the road or on the couch, and then when I'm sitting down to play a game, I've been balancing by playing Horizon. It is very weird jumping back and forth between the two because they're so different.
Yeah. Oh, but at the same time, they're kind of similar because they're both these big open world games
with a lot of arrow combat.
So I feel like if I'm gonna do anything, I feel like I should play something that's completely different than to sort of cleanse my palate between the two. So I don't know. I'm gonna continue on with Zelda because I don't want to sort of half put it down because I'm worried I won't pick it up again because I have a tendency to sometimes do that.
It's hard to put it down.
I don't want to keep playing.
It's hard to put Zelda down when you can take it with you.
Oh.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm going to say we have an episode 98, my friend.
In the bag.
So go buy a Samsung KS8000 and go buy a Switch. Tell them Rico sent you so that I get my kickback.
Oh,
wait a second. I don't get anything.
Yeah. It's a nice thought, though.
Mm-hmm. It is a nice thought. I wish.
Maybe one day. I don't know. I'm holding off for OLED, I think.
I would like an OLED, but I don't have $4,000.
I'm just going to wait. I'll play the waiting game for a while. It'll work out.
Oh, yeah. In another year. I needed a TV now, though.
Yeah, exactly. I don't.
I had such a crappy TV.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy. I don't think the difference between OLED and this TV is that justifiable.
No, fair enough.
It's so good. Not lying. It's pretty amazing. You can follow me on Twitter at RickF, no K, RICF.
You can always hit me up on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DAYNECODY.
Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube. It's Geekoholics at all three. And of course, if you haven't, rate us on iTunes or any other podcast service that allows ratings, and share us with your friends.
Yeah, and come back and visit us next week.
Yeah, episode 99. Jesus Christ.
Woo! We're almost there.
Yeah, 100 episodes, dude.
Ooh, man.
We're getting old.
I know.
Really, that's old for men. Alright, until next week, we are out.
Later.
Peace.